Detroit. They play tomorrow in Portland. Cade Cunningham and Bogdanovich are both questionable. I don't know if Detroit can keep it close if these guys both sit, but man, if they do, it's like a clear path. Durant, Ivy, Alec Burks. Like, I think they're just like clear plays that you go to for Detroit. And then Sacramento, you can play Sabonis. He's probably the best spend on the entire slate. And then you got, guys like Monk. You can literally play one or two of these Sac guys with like 4 Detroit guys if those guys are out and make it work easily.
Swiper with the steal. To its feet.
I love that promo. Congrats, Brittany. She's been here since the start of the site. Totally awesome. Hit for 100K. JSU crushing it on Up to Lock with me last night. And I did not play enough of his plays is the problem. I was working and probably, texting somebody or stuff like, dude, JSU crushes again. Brittany with 100K hit. What is going on? I think Schlong just had a 100K hit recently. I know DC's had some nice some hits as well lately, and RPS is just rolling. But I'll say it one more time. Way to go, Brittany. If there's a member out there that I'm happy for, it's you. You absolutely kicked some ass, and I'm happy. So let's get a like going here. RPS 15, you want to sign up. This is where the winners are, and JSU gave it out on Up to Lock. That is a premium show. I'm doing this show today, so I will not be with JSU. That means you might actually want to watch. He'll be doing a show with Tony on SaberSim, teaching you how to use SaberSim tonight. So I'm pumped. Let's go. We got the trade deadline. We got a pair of 7-game slates on each side. DK FanDuel tonight. Schlong said, hey, man, we got 2 10 o'clock games that we don't got to worry about, so we're locking early. DC, what is up? Trade deadline for you, my friend. No huge names, but a lot of movement, huh?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like all the teams – I don't know, got rid of their like marginal pieces and they all kind of swapped around the league and everyone's like, this 8th or 9th or 10th man isn't working here. We'll trade for your 7th or 8th or 9th man and, mix it up. And, your one's man's trash is another man's treasure, kind of seemed like that type of trade deadline. No huge moves, but I don't know. I think anytime that the DFS landscape gets shaken up a little bit, right, where we get new rotations, new minutes, new roles for players, I think that's good for the savvy player, which, of course, we like to think that we are here at RPS doing our research, trying to pick the winners. Obviously, big congratulations to Brittany last night. JSU nailed it with the Detroit call, and we talk about it a lot on this show. There is certainly an advantage to, in general, kind of backloading, right? Waiting for news to hit. You get premium plays like those Detroit guys, like those Sacramento guys at lower ownerships than they would otherwise be if that was the first game of the night, right? So we talk about it a lot. It's for good reason. And awesome to see Brittany with the huge score. I know it's almost hard to keep track of all the huge scores we've got going on at RPS with all the different sports, members, coordinators, content providers, whoever it may be. So been an awesome run for RPS. I'm sure it will continue, for NBA, PGA, Super Bowl coming up, MMA, the DFS schedule. It never stops, and we'll stay on the right side of it and keep picking winners for the people. So great stuff. And a fun slate tonight with all the trades. We got some very, very thin rotations. I do think we'll see most likely a very high score needed to both cash and to get close to winning a tournament, given some of the thin rotations tonight. So another fun slate in the association, 7 games. It's just perfect, even without the 2 late games, and excited to break it down with you two guys.
No, I like how you brought it back to DFS because it really is going to be quite the impact tonight. We'll discuss that in a few minutes. I do want to talk about the deadline, though. What's going on here, Schlong? I don't think it was Doug McDermott going to the Pacers. You're wearing a Pacers hat there. But what's your thoughts on the trade deadline today? Or I think the Knicks kind of got really good, at least on their bench.
I love trade deadline day for DFS. It's like one of my favorite days just because, you'll have the Nets and the Knicks, which we'll get to, have super thin rotations tonight. As DC said, it was mainly like secondary, like 6-man type of acquisitions were like the big ones. I think the Knicks got the best player here, Bogdanovich, at the trade deadline. I'd say PJ Washington was the second best player moved. He went to Dallas. Dallas gave up a lot. I mean, they're trying to go for it. I think the biggest losers were probably – I don't really like what Philly did personally. Like, they helped out Milwaukee defensively, giving them Beverly for campaign, which makes no sense. I mean, I get they need better shooting with Buddy Hield, but I also don't love Buddy Hield in general. I was totally fine with the Pacers getting rid of him. I'm now a Pacers fan after Friday night, and my Wizards are absolutely horrible, and the Pacers are just a super fun team to watch in general. So they're officially my team now. Yeah, shout out to Brittany. I mean, we got people winning everywhere. She's giving away 3 or 5 tickets as well. So, you know,
what?
props to her for
I didn't know that.
Yeah, big giveaway will be going on shortly at RPS to members only, obviously. But
wow,
yeah, good, great hit. I mean,
what show is that? What are they doing that on? Is that like the Super Bowl preview show?
I think it's the Super Bowl Wildcat, and it's going to be on the Super Bowl show.
I guess I'm giving them away.
I think it's like a 4-hour long show on Sunday.
Shit. Yeah. It ain't no 4-hour show. I'm not sitting there by myself for 4 hours having people coming in and out. That's a 2-hour show. No way I'm doing 4 hours.
Dude, you're the radio guy. I'm the picks guy. So I'll stick in my lane. You can stick in yours. But
I'm not doing 4 hours, JSU. Go find someone else.
But yeah, no, I love trade deadline day. You know, I sometimes I play like the super high stakes stuff and max it, and sometimes I don't. And today's one of the days I do. So yeah, hopefully ends up being a good day, and about ready to break it all down for you.
So when you let's just talk about the deadline here for a couple more minutes, because it's all anybody was talking about, and I think even DFS players, you know, right now still thinking about the fallout from here. DC, let me ask you about the Knicks. So they got Bojan and they got Burks. And I asked this question in the Discord here. The question is, do the Knicks have a legit shot of coming out the East at this point? Like with Thibodeau and now how deep they are, could you see the Knicks coming out of the East?
I still think they're not quite as good as Milwaukee, but I mean, Philadelphia, who was, I think, the third best team, their season's up in jeopardy. Obviously depends on Embiid's health. Given his history of injuries, wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back at all this year, which would, I think, basically eliminate Philadelphia from contention. So then it's Milwaukee and Boston ahead of them. And I don't think those teams are unbeatable. I still do think they are. I haven't checked the championship odds movements. I'm sure they moved a little bit today. I still think Milwaukee and Boston are a little bit better. But yeah, the Knicks improved there a lot. You know, we obviously talked about the acquisitions today. I mean, maybe even the bigger one was the addition of OG Anunoby. I know they gave up Quickly and RJ Barrett to get him. But, you know, if the Knicks can get everybody healthy, which, you know, OG's not healthy right now. Randall dislocated his shoulder. He's going to be out a while. But assuming they can get everybody back, for a playoff run, yeah, I do think they have a chance. They've got – seems like a real star and leader in Jalen Brunson. They've got good defensive wings now, which they were missing a little bit. So I love what the Knicks did. I'm not sure it's quite enough, but why not go for it, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this sports thing is to ramp up and try to compete for a championship if you can. I think sometimes teams are too cautious when they've got a good squad of, you know, trying to prolong their window instead of pushing the chips in and giving it a shot, which I think is a good move this year for the Knicks because there's no unbeatable team in the NBA this year. I think it's fairly wide open, especially in the East. So, yeah, I definitely like what the Knicks did, and I think they got a chance for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right. In the chat, thanks for the reminder. Mitch Rob's coming back, too, here in the second half. So they're going to be super-duper deep. Here's the odds, guys. And so the Celtics at plus 120 to come out of the East. This is just out of the East. Bucks 240, Knicks 750. Sixers 10-1, Heat 12-1, Cavs 12-1. So that's a nice little jump here for the Knicks. But The book will tell you it's a 2-team race between the Celtics and the Bucks. Schlong, talk to me here. The Knicks, again, you'll have Randall healthier. You'll have Mitch Rob coming back. You add Bojan. You add Burks. They've got a good head coach. What's the prognosis for the Knicks in the East?
I do think the Celtics are the cream of the crop in the East.
Mhm.
I have way less faith in the Bucks, especially with Doc Rivers, the head coach. I just think he's a total donkey. The issue with Tibbs is he runs his guys into the ground too much in the regular season, and they get super tired for the playoffs. But with the amount of rest that these guys have gotten this year, Randall's taken off some games, Brunson's taken off some games. With the new guys coming in, I think that'll be less of an issue for them this year than it was for Tibbs teams in the past. I kind of think it's a 3-team race with the Knicks being the 3rd team. Mm-hmm. I don't think – I'm assuming that Embiid just sits out. I mean, a torn meniscus, I don't see them going for it. So, I kind of think it's Boston and then, Milwaukee or the Knicks would be my guess in the East. In the West, I mean, I think the West is way more wide open personally. I don't really see why the Lakers didn't make a move. I mean, you only have so many good years left of LeBron. So, I mean, kind of not necessarily wasting one, but not doing absolutely everything you can every year makes no sense to me. I mean, your team's going to suck ass when he leaves anyways. So why not just, mortgage more of your future for more upside at the moment?
Yeah, the Lakers stay put. DeJounte didn't get traded. That's some other things we had. OKC gets Gordon Hayward. Bucks, Pat Bev. Sixers, campaign. Buddy Hield. Mavs get PJ. What do you think of the PJ Washington trade, Shalon? PJ Washington to the Mavs.
I thought it was an overpay, but, we're talking about how wide open the West is. I think he really does fit well on that team at the 4. With Luka, Kyrie, you have so much shooting now with a 4 that can shoot well. He's a massive upgrade over Kleber. And he can play small ball 5 as well if they want to go mega small. So I do think he's a good fit on the team. Dallas really doesn't have anything else left to give up, so they're kind of maxed out now. I thought that they got Gafford as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a decent addition. So, they improved down low a lot. They have plenty of wings to throw out there. Grant Williams is a guy who doesn't really play well in the regular season, but, you've seen him in the playoffs be able to simply be on the court because he's so good defensively. So, the Mavs are just going to try and outscore you.
I mean, if you're the Mavs with Luka and Kyrie, right, you kind of got to go for it. And like you said, they didn't really have much else to give up. So they made the improvement that they could. And like I said, I mean, yeah, you give up the 20th-ish pick in the draft, whatever. Most of those picks bust anyway. You gotta try it if you're the Mavs. So I like the moves that they made too. I think they are the team that improved the second most, in my opinion, behind the Knicks.
All right. So just the last thought for you here, DC. What did you think of the Lakers and DeJounte not getting dealt?
I was surprised. We talked about it on the show yesterday. I kind of predicted that DeJounte would sit, partly because I thought he would get traded. And listen, that might have been the reason he sat anyway, right? Because they were trying to trade him. Maybe couldn't find the deal that they wanted to. It is weird to me, the teams that have players clearly on the block that they want to trade that could bring back pieces and they can't get a deal done, right? Why is Tyus Jones still on the Wizards? He could be the backup point guard for a bunch of contenders. So it's weird when teams can't find a deal. Chicago Bulls, standing pat for what is it? I think I saw it's 30 months since they've made a trade. Crazy. They're not going anywhere. They have assets, crazy for them, I think, not to make a deal. But yeah, what was your question exactly? I can't remember.
Lakers, DeJounte.
DeJounte was surprising. I get not wanting to sell low on him, though. Very talented player. And I still think he could work with Trae Young, given he's a different player than Trae Young is. Defensive-minded player, long. I think he can play next to Trae Young. So I get that one. And in the Lakers, that was definitely surprising that they didn't shake it up. It seems like Bron kind of, everyone knows he's kind of the GM of these teams. It seems like they always kind of make a move to shake things up. Doesn't seem like he's super happy playing with D'Angelo Russell, but yeah, maybe they couldn't find something that they like either. So I guess it makes sense. And even though the Lakers are struggling, I mean, what are they, a play-in team right now?
Yeah, Russell's been playing well lately too, by the way.
Yeah, you can't write off a team with Bron still playing the way he is and Anthony Davis having a huge season too. Nobody wants to play the Lakers as a 8, 9, or 10 seed in the playoffs if it comes to that. I don't think they'll be able to get it done, but
they could have really used a wing. They're starting like Taurean Prince. They can't really find that fifth starter to go with Reeves, Russell, LeBron, and AD. So that's going to be
there'll be buyouts and stuff from these trades. There'll be some opportunities, I think, for the Lakers. Maybe
like a Daniel House type of guy. I think can help them out. I don't really think they need help at guard much. I mean,
Dinwiddie. The Raptors traded. They did the Schroeder for Dinwiddie deal, and then Dinwiddie had a contract.
They fucked him on his trade clause for $1.5 million.
You get $1.5 million, so they cut him because they didn't want to pay him that. So he'll be on a contender, I would assume, relatively quickly here.
Okay, we're going to get into the slate here in just a second. Want to remind everybody, hit the like button. We'd really appreciate that. Again, congrats to Brittany. I don't know if she's watching right now, but maybe popping some champagne. Tonight, up to lock is going to be a little bit different. JSU and Tony, just Big T and JSU. They're going to be doing some SaberSim tutorial stuff. If you don't know what SaberSim is, it's our optimizer. It's absolutely terrific. Everybody seems to rave about it. That is a subscriber. So playback as well, playback.tv. So here's what they'll do. They will give you up to lock. They'll use SaberSim. JSU will keep giving you all his great plays. Tony will do whatever he wants to do. And then they'll also have playback. So playback.tv, what they do is you see your screen right now. They go into the corner and you have a game on and they'll just watch the game along with you. You want to watch another game? Hey guys, can you switch to this game? Boom. You can watch every game you want and you can sweat the action with the guys. They'll throw some live bets out there. That's coming up at 6:00 Eastern time, up to lock premium show. Free show. Our first NFL show is tonight. The Old Guys Pod, 9:00 Eastern time. Uncle T, JT, myself, just talking about old people shit. So that's about it. We have a pair of 7-game slates each site. And we're going to start with, hey, your Pacers. Let's start with you here, Schlong. So no Doug McDermott yet. Talk to me about the rotation this evening. And then they host the Warriors, who, if I'm correct, just did nothing.
Yeah, Warriors did nothing. They've been kind of a mess recently. They haven't been closing with Klay Thompson, and it's kind of tilting him. But, I kind of think it's the right move at this point to go with the younger guys. Kuminga's been an absolute animal. He was rumored to be on the block just because he wasn't happy with his minutes. And then they started playing him more minutes, and, now he's just absolutely demolishing. I always like guys against Indy. I think Pods and Kuminga are super interesting here. I could see Steph as well. Don't really want to mess around with the secondary Warriors pieces. I could see Draymond. He's listed as probable tonight. He only played 18 minutes last game, but I think he does have upside to those. He had been playing many more before. I think the one guy here that might go overlooked is Halliburton. He's only 8.6 on DraftKings because he's been playing lesser minutes, and the press conferences recently have indicated that his role is about to increase and start to ramp up his minutes again. So, if this is the spot where he plays 35 minutes or even 33 at 8.6K, that's a guy that nobody's going to be on that can get you, slate breaking upside. So I like him. The rest of the Pacers kind of come down to who's in or out for them. I think that this trade to me indicates that Mathurin is going to take on a much bigger role. If you're trading Buddy Hield away, you're going to give Mathurin more minutes. So I think he's the biggest beneficiary of the trade. And I think him and Nembhard and Neesmith are all pretty solid plays, but say Mathurin sits tonight, then, I think Nembhard would become a key play. I would expect him to jump into the starting unit. in terms of Jalen Smith, that's kind of tricky. Isaiah Jackson would be a really good play if he ends up sitting, but I don't really have a read on that situation. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have for the game.
That's plenty of breakdown. I like it. Talk to me here, DC. Who's getting the bump in minutes tonight for the Pacers and any plays from the Warriors?
I'll just say this right off the jump. Like, my teams are going to be mostly, if not entirely, populated by the Knicks and the Nets, who are both going to play, what, Bryce, 7 or 8 guys? I mean, and relatively inexpensive as well. So when you're looking at these teams, like, yeah, some of these Pacers guys, yes, they benefit from the Buddy Hield trade, but like Mathurin, Nembhard, Nesmith, like I think these guys are way behind the kind of the mid-range plays that exist on the Nets and the Knicks for me. So I'm not finding myself too interested in the Pacers. I do think the Halliburton call is interesting. Is there an official minutes limit on him, Bryce? Do you know? I mean, they're saying
it's not official, but his props have been getting jammed over all day because of what Carlisle said in the press conference. He's like, or what Halliburton said in the press conference. Sorry, he's like, I'm ready to play more minutes. So,
okay. And,
I think the industry is projecting him for what, like around 28 is what I'm seeing. Like if you bump him to say, even 32 minutes, that's a massive boost for like an 8.6 Halliburton.
I mean, he played 29 minutes last game. It seems crazy to be projected lower than that. And I mean, this is a really good matchup. I talk about it a lot now, but that Golden State backcourt defensively, playing big minutes, Curry, Klay Thompson, Pod, like they can't defend anybody back there. So it would make sense for Halliburton to get going here. And, if he played 29 minutes 2 days ago, he's saying he's ready to play more. Yeah, like you said, I think 32, 33 minutes seems reasonable, 8,600. And I think pretty low ownership because the industry seems to have him projected for, 3, 4, 5 minutes lower than maybe we expect. So, yeah, Halliburton, I think, is the most interesting piece on the Pacers, at least. Golden State, yeah, like Kuminga and Pod are the 2 guys that I'm really looking at. I think Curry is fine as well. Draymond, his minutes lately worry me a little bit. It seems like he maybe is playing through a little bit of knee soreness. And is this second? Yeah, they played last night, second half of back-to-back. He only played 18 minutes in that game. So I think I'm off of Draymond, just given how good the mid-range is in some of these other games. But, yeah, I think Pod, Kuminga, and then Halliburton, the 3 guys I'm looking at in this one.
All right, very good. That's the first game. Like button would be great. We got 6 more that we're going to break down. Again, we got up to lock today with JSU, who helped Brittany, one of our longtime members, cash for $100K. He and Big T will be taking you up to JSU, and Big T taking you up to lock tonight, and then sweating out the games as you guys watch the games with them. Playback by .tv. And again, if you are not a member, I don't know what you're waiting for. We've got so much content, so many great bets. The bet side, JBC and the boys and the girl, Christine, they're going to be rolling out a ton of Super Bowl content, Super Bowl bets. We've got 2 of the best showdown players in the world in JBC and Big T as well. And I don't want to take anything away from the rest of our team too. So if you're playing Super Bowl showdown, it's worth at least sprinkling. Try it out for a month. See what you can get out of it. Stick around for the NBA. We got NASCAR, baseball. Hey, DC, baseball. We got the Dodgers. They're reporting on Friday. And the pitchers and catchers, all the teams will be reported by the 15th next week. So baseball's just about back. DC's probably, what have you been digging into baseball since 2 months ago, probably? Just sitting at home typing shit.
Yeah, no, I made I'm very excited for baseball. I dedicated an hour a day leading up to the season, preparing for baseball, working on some new tools. So I'll have actually a bunch of stuff for RPS subscribers once that gets closer, but really, really fun stuff. And I won't go into it now, but couldn't be more excited for baseball season.
The golf team is crushing. I hit an 80-1 winner. Who was that? Andy last week, Schlong? Do you remember who it was that Andy gave out the 80-1 winner for Wyndham Clark? I mean, it's always nice. Woo! He crushed it. So every sport, every expert here. It's tremendous. College basketball, Steve Boynton does a great job too. Can't afford your membership, still paying a hospital bill for your pet cat that tore its ACL. I don't know.
Sorry about your cat, dude.
Huh?
Sorry about his cat.
Yeah, dude.
That sucks.
I think you can afford a weekly. Just try for a week. Do it for the Super Bowl then. You can do it, right, DC? I mean, Javon can do it. Or just cancel your phone for a week or something. You know, it's not very expensive.
You don't need your phone to play DFS.
And you can use your computer.
You're
No,
wild.
you can't use a computer for DFS. I mean, I don't, but I'm just saying you could if you wanted to.
You just can't go anywhere.
I got a cat too. I hope your cat's okay, Javon. Thanks for checking in. Game number 2. Enough of the snarkiness from Schlong. I'm going to punish you by going to DC here. It's not really a punishment. Spurs and the Magic. If I'm correct, the Magic really didn't do much. And the Spurs, I guess anytime we talk about them, we got to start with Wembanyama. He's down to 8,900 now, DC. What do we want to do with he's back. He's up $100 from his last time. But here's the guy that was 9,400 last week. You want any Wembanyama this evening? And what do you make of the Spurs and the Magic?
I mean, Wemby's always in play, right? It's crazy how consistent he's been. Only put up 44 fantasy points last night, but before that, it had been like between 48 and 52, like 6 or 7 consecutive games, which is a good score at 8,900. I don't know for sure if that's enough on this particular night. And the matchup isn't great against Orlando, but yeah, Wembanyama certainly in play. These are two teams that pretty much stood pat at the trade deadline, so no real value to be had. They're also two, relatively healthy teams, right? There's almost no injury news on either side. So on a day with, plenty of injury news and the trade deadline thinning out, 80% of these teams had their rotation thinned out to some degree today. It's hard to go to this game. Orlando's not a team we really like to target playing players for them or against them, honestly. 224 total is pretty low. Awesome 7-game slate. Unless something changes, or you're playing 150 or whatever, which of course you're going to mix in some Wembanyama at that point. I don't see a ton here to love.
Schlong, do you love anything from the Magic and the Spurs?
No. DC summed it up perfectly. I got 3 plays in this game: Wemby, Banchero, Franz Wagner. They're definitely going to be in my pool. Likely going to try and be over on them. I think there's very strict routes to go today in terms of like what the optimal teams will be. It's going to be super cheap guys, and then you can play Luka and or Giannis. You can play them both on the same team. So, I think getting these secondary studs mixed in with all the great value that we're going to have on the slate is by far the best way to go. Franz and Banchero are playing huge minutes. It's a really paced up game for them. They're at home. And then Wemby, I always include Wemby in my pool just because he is slight breaking upside every time he touches the court. On FanDuel, he's always more expensive, but, stocks matter so much more there. And he's only 8,900 on DraftKings. So those 3 guys in my plays here and no one else.
Yeah, I saw this, Eddie. The news just came down. OG Anunoby's out at least 3 weeks is the news right now. So he's got, what was it? He's got floating particles, I think is what it is. Elbow surgery. So he's out.
It doesn't sound great. I'm kind of a Knicks stan now. So, and hopefully he's healthy for the playoffs. But,
I would think so.
they're probably just going to be super confident.
That was like, that is so 2022 to Kid. So 2022.
I still thought it was funny to Kid.
I did too.
Yeah.
I'm actually sitting just meters from my dungeon down here. But yeah, the Knicks had a great day. Bojan, Burks. Now OG's down, but again, Randall hurt. He'll be back. OG hurt. He'll be back. Mitch Rob. He'll be back. That's it. Like button. Just do it. So I don't have to say it again. Cleveland and Brooklyn. Oh, yeah. What do we got here for the Nets? Schroeder and Thad Young are coming to town. Are we going to have a shortened rotation here, Schlong, for Brooklyn tonight?
Oh, yeah. Brooklyn is the shortest rotation. I think they're going to have 7 or maybe 8 players. I think it's 7. Everyone is playable. I'm not going to start to tell you all 7 are going to be in my pool. Bridges, Thomas, Claxton, Simmons are the expensive ones. And then if you look at the next line, Cam Johnson out, Dinwiddie out, DFS out, Lonnie Walker out, Royce O'Neal out, Day'Ron Sharp out. Dennis Smith Jr., assuming he starts, is definitely going to be the chalkiest player of the day. And I think he's good chalk here. But, you saw last night, Oscar Thompson was considered the chalk, play of the day from Detroit. And he didn't other Detroit guys got there too. So, I would kind of mix and match, nets on these teams. I think I don't think I might even go 5 nets tonight. I'm not sure. I'm definitely going 4 nights. I almost never go 5. There's only a couple times per year I do. That you can ask me that in chat later, but it's definitely kind of a max nets type of night. I think you go down as far as Jalen Wilson. He's 3.1K. He'll be in my pool. Harry Giles got waived. I think it's just Wilson, Watford, Smith. Yeah, I think it's a 7-man rotation
Is
here.
Clowney there? I think Clowney's available too.
Yeah, he got recalled from the G League. That's the 8th. That's the 8th player I was thinking of. Clowney probably won't make my pool, but I think the other 7 will.
I'm with Schlong in this. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think it's 8 guys available, and 3 of them are primarily centers, right? Claxton can only play center, and then Watford and Clowney, their natural position is center. So those 3 guys, I still think Claxton is a decent play, but I don't think he is necessarily locked into the same minutes and usage that the guards, right, in the wings in this spot. And also Ben Simmons, he's been on a minutes limit, right? He hasn't played. He's been back for 3 games. He's played 18, 14, and 20 minutes after missing what? He missed all of November, December, and January. So pretty much 3 months off. I don't think they're pushing Simmons past, 25 minutes? I think would be about the most he would play. Maybe
I could potentially see 28. I don't see absolutely.
But okay, let's
I'd be 20 to 28. I'd call it 24 if I actually had to set an over under on his minutes, I would set it at probably 23 and a half.
I think that's perfect for Simmons. But there's so many minutes, and I think the 3 guys that I'm starting my lineup with, Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, and Dennis Smith Jr., right? I think those guys are all playing 40-plus minutes in this game and are taking all the shots, right? Because Claxton is not an offensive center. He's not a guy that can produce offense. Ben Simmons is literally afraid to shoot the basketball. And so it just leaves those 3 guys, Smith, Bridges, Thomas, got to do, I think, all the scoring. Then Wilson, I think, is interesting. I don't think I would play him on my main lineup. He does have a pretty, listen, he was one of the last picks in the draft this last year, 51st pick overall, has played most of the year in the G League. So we do have a decent sample size of his stats there. He's a 27% shooter from 3, not producing big numbers even in the G League. So I do think he's going to get, 25-ish minutes, Wilson, you think, Schlong, something like that?
Yeah, I could see him playing as high as 30.
Me too.
They have no wings.
But I do think his talent is, I think he's going to be mostly kind of a spot-up shooter in this game, and I don't think he's particularly good at that skill. So I do have my concerns about Wilson, but like I said, I think Thomas, Smith, Bridges, start your lineups with those 3 guys, and I think you're going to be happy at the end of the night. I do think you can expand that to Claxton if you want, Wilson if you want. I think Watford is somewhat interesting as a punt, but it's those 3 main guys that I'm really focused on for Brooklyn. Cleveland side, not all that interested, although Matchup's obviously pretty good here against the depleted Brooklyn team.
So our next game, guys, is we move to Dallas at the Knicks. And again, the Mavs get PJ Washington, but DC with the Knicks now. And again, OG is going to be out at least 3 weeks with the elbow issue. We've got, Bojan and Burks on their way there. How short is the rotation for the Knicks tonight? And who are the plays, if any? Plus, Luka and Kyrie are coming to town.
So it'll be a very short rotation, no matter if Brunson plays or not. But if Brunson's out, what's your lean there, Schlong? Brunson playing? I mean,
I'd lean out
me
just
too,
because it's already kind of a clown car game for them. But
it would make sense, right? They got to get their guys back in there healthy, kind of figure out their rotation.
6-man rotation.
Yeah, it's going to be close to that because if Brunson's out, listen, McBride is going to start at the point, and he's going to play.
Oof.
I mean, I would project him if Brunson is out for like 38 minutes with upside for more. Dante DiVincenzo, I think I've played him every game since the injuries to OG and Grimes. And like just watching this team play, like you can tell they're hurting for offense. And so one big part of their offense is DiVincenzo just jacks up a three every chance that he gets. Like he only got 9 up last game, but before that, 16, 15 3-point attempts. Just nuts. I know he's up to 7,900. Seems like a crazy price point for DiVincenzo, but for this role, he's going to play 40-plus minutes. Think he's an awesome play. Josh Hart, 6,300. Again, he's going to play 40 minutes in this game. He's a good play. Precious Achua, 6,400. Seems like a lot. Another guy that you can comfortably project for 40-plus minutes. And then Hardenstein, kind of the shackles are off him a little bit. Jericho Sims, questionable. They do have, like Taj Gibson to back him up, but Hardenstein could play big minutes. So it does partly depend on Brunson. But listen, if Brunson's in a revenge game against Dallas, I would assume if he's playing, you can assume he's going to be, good to go. 9,700, I'm in on that. But if he's out, that's when the Knicks get really interesting. And like I said at the top of the show, it's not going to change for me. I think you want to make most of your team, frankly, from the Nets and the Knicks, and the pieces fit together pretty well. I don't know if I can guarantee 40 minutes from all 8 guys in my DFS lineup. That's something that I might be interested in, which kind of seems like the case with the Knicks and the Nets. So I'm absolutely in on this team. Other side, listen, Kyrie, Luka, they're fine plays, but I'm going to mostly be sticking to this mid-range build with all these guys who are, this kind of 5, 6, 7, 8K range with these two teams. You can build some really tasty teams. They're going to be super popular plays, but I'll let other people make what I perceive to be mistakes on this slate. I might like the Knicks more than the Nets. It's certainly close between the two. It does probably depend on the Brunson news.
Schlong, who do you like more, Knicks or Nets?
It depends on the Brunson news. If Brunson is out, Miles McBride is like as much of a lock as Dennis Smith Jr. is.
Yeah,
even more so, I think.
Yeah, this is the type of slate where you could just play 4 Knicks and 4 Nets and Giannis or Luka.
Yeah,
and it would be probably what the optimal would spit out.
He's 4,100.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said you're playing high stakes. I imagine in some of those smaller field high stakes that you're going to get some of these players 92, 93% owned.
Yeah. I think my big tournament today is I maxed the monster on FanDuel. So the pricing's a little different over there. Dennis Smith is up to 5.2 over there. We normally focus the shows more on DraftKings here simply because I think most of our users and most of the general public is playing more on DraftKings. But if there's pricing notes that to throw in, that's one of them. So yeah, Miles McBride, all these guys are priced up a little bit more on FanDuel than DraftKings. But yeah, people don't want to pay for DiVincenzo, and it keeps burning them. And he's going to keep producing at this role. If he's playing 42 minutes a game and taking 20 shots a game, he's like a 9K player. So I don't feel bad paying this price for him at all. I don't feel bad paying for Hartenstein, Achua, Hart, DiVincenzo, McBride, Brunson. This and the Nets are kind of the chalk situation of the day, and it's really good chalk because the routes to them failing. If you get say some bullshit cheap guy starting in a 10-man rotation for 3K and he's chalk, I'm totally fine fading that. But if you get these 4K players that are gonna have to play 38 minutes, Dennis Smith Jr. has to play high 30s minutes. There's simply no other option for him not to. He's gonna run into a minimum of 20 points, fantasy points, just by being on the court, even if he plays horrible. So the routes to these guys failing are just not there. So I think it's good chalk. Mix and match. I think after discussing it, I don't think I'm going to go 5 on any team. I think 4 max on both sites for the Nets and the Knicks would be kind of the way I was going if I was setting my settings in Saber. So yeah, they're all really good plays. Dallas wise, I like Luka a little bit more than DC here. It's just kind of hard to not play some of these guys that can get 80, and there's only a couple of them on this slate. I think a ton of people are going to play Luka, so I'm likely going to be under Luka and under Giannis and higher on the mid range. If I had to guess, I haven't built my teams yet, as I'm kind of waiting on news. But there's a massive pricing gap between those two players and everyone else on the slate.
All right, guys, like button would be terrific. We'd appreciate it. I'll keep congratulating Brittany, one of our longest subscribers. She hit for 100K last night after watching Up to Lock show. JSU basically gave out the perfect lineup. I didn't even ask JSU what he ended up hitting for, but it's impressive because usually we go with a 3-man booth. Last night, I'm not going to be any help. I'm just going to sit there and help him out, try and make his life a little bit easier. But no. He's sitting there just throwing out winners, and JSU and Big T tonight. Up to Lock show starting in about 35 minutes from right now. They'll be using playback.tv. You can sweat the games with them. They'll be doing a little Saber Sim tutorial as well. Still time to get in to watch that show tonight. If you're not a member, RPS 15, 15% off your first payment. And just like Schlong was saying earlier today, it's not going to be a 4-hour show. I'll guarantee you that. But at 10 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday, we're really going to get cooking with our NFL coverage. We'll do the Super Bowl show. DC, you're stopping by, right? You'll stop by the Super Bowl show. Big T, JSU, AP. If you feel better, AP, by the way. He's dying. I think he's got a cross of flu syphilis that is rolling around Nebraska right now. It's not good news. So I hope you feel better. Here, when the games start, buddy. Right after Up to Lock. It's our boy, Nye the Great. Right after Up to Lock.
I think Up to Lock is on playback tonight.
On top of it? Dude, this is just
I
blowing
think they
my
were
mind.
doing it on playback.
I'm absolutely mind blown right now. I don't even know how to handle this. Anyways, Super Bowl show Sunday. Schlong, what are you doing, Schlong? You gonna just be following the tail around?
I host a Super Bowl party every year at my house pretty much because I love sitting at my desk. All my friends come over. We get drunk. I get to make my teams. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to deal with anyone's bullshit. This year, I've been told by my fiance that we are not hosting our Super Bowl party because we have been hosting people too often. Empire stayed with us for a couple days, and that was a whirlwind. So I think we're gonna calm it down a bit this year and let one of our other friends host. But yeah, I go to friends' houses. I don't go to bars for the game. I like sweating it with people I know.
As soon as the Empire left, your girlfriend's like, "Yeah, we're staying home for a couple of days."
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Pretty much. But yeah, I think that the guy that might have the biggest sweat at Run Pure here for the Super Bowl is DC. I know he hasn't mentioned it a ton, but he has by far the best playoff long fantasy team for 150K. So hopefully he runs well and closes that one out.
No, I hope he loses. Why are you rooting for DC for anything, Schlong? Seriously.
You're not going to root for your coworker to make 150
hell
grand
no,
gold?
not DC. We root against each other. I do not want him bragging about winning.
Listen, man, I'd be rooting against you too, Holden. So
I know you will. We want each other to lose.
Not that you would ever have 150K sweat yourself.
Yeah,
so
I don't want you to win 150K. I don't want to hear you talking about that all the time. That's miserable. Oh no, please. And what are you doing, Schlong? Hosting people for the Super Bowl? Like, how do you concentrate on the Super Bowl when you have 20 drunk people around you? I think Super Bowl parties are the worst idea in the history of the world.
I love it.
Horrible.
Because I
He's
got
talking
three
to his
TVs set
fiancée.
up. I got 3 TVs set up behind me. I'm
Yeah, but
bullshitting
other
on my
people are
friends.
with
I already
you.
know what to do. Yeah, but they
DC,
know exactly.
what do you do,
These
DC? Are
these
you
are my
a-
best friends. They know what I do. They know what I do for a living. They're not
No,
going
they
to annoy
totally
the fuck
bother
out of
you,
me
I'm
while
sure.
I'm making my teams.
puking? You got to, who cleans your bathroom after all these people are pissing everywhere because they're drunk?
Well, people are respectful in Indiana, unlike Denver.
They don't miss. It's not member anymore. DC, what are you doing for a Super Bowl? Like, you watch your, I can't watch with anybody else. Maybe my parents or my girl. That's about
I
it.
usually go to a party, but I think this year I'm staying home with the big sweat. It's like the only thing I really care about is trying to bring home that money in first place, and like it's a very very narrow sweat where it's like like a 2v2 essentially, and every Kelsey reception is gonna be like a stab in the back, and I just know.
So you
I'm
got to
not gonna-
fade Kelsey.
Yeah,
That's your big fade.
the big one, yeah. And
Okay.
he can have a decent game. He just can't do what he's done the last couple of weeks. But like, I just know I'm not really going to care about, like interacting with other people, or, people are going to be cheering for this or that. And this is like what I'm rooting for is so narrow that I'm not going to really be that fun to be around, because I'm just going to be sweating it hard. So
Can you even hedge, DC? Is there a way to hedge betting?
So you could bet Kelsey overs, but there's probably a way that you could get middled.
So yeah, what I am doing, I am betting Kelsey overs, because I'm basically guaranteed or close to guaranteed first or second. So 25K or 150K. So it's basically 125K fading Kelsey. So I'm gonna bet his overs for some money, and then I'm also he's actually projected to be pretty low owned in Showdown. So I'm gonna max the flagship $15 Showdown and be very Kelsey heavy, where if he has a bad game, yes, those lineups will lose, but I'll almost certainly win the 150K. If he goes off, he's low enough owned in Showdown that I'll have a good chance to get a piece of the first place prize in that one. So you're right, there is a chance I could get medaled. There's also a chance he could win both if he does pretty well, but like Pacheco goes off too. So that's my hedge there. It's not a perfect one, but just trying to guarantee myself at least a pretty good day.
I've been complaining that we don't have enough promos here. Like, we don't promote ourselves enough. We might have another promo with DC here. So we got one last night. Brittany hitting 100K, watching up to lock. Maybe we'll have one for DC. 25. I don't know if 25,000 gets you one, but 150,000. This dude's going to be insufferable, Schlong. You're not even going to want to talk to him.
Wait till I win the Millie at the NBA final.
You a big deal.
And I'll be unsufferable.
No, unsufferable?
Insufferable.
Betting all why? Because
by the way, Schlong, as a friend, unlike Holden here, I will be rooting for you to win $1 million.
Thank you.
If I don't want him winning either.
Phallic has more tickets than me.
So I definitely don't want Phallic to win.
Well, I don't know if I can root for Phallic, but you're Schlong out.
Okay, there we go.
Basically, RPS, where none of the hosts root for each other. And that's just not true. Anyways, betting all the overs. You want to know something? I looked into it because I liked Kelsey over 66.5. It's literally the only bet I've made, and I'm usually an under better. But the juice or the plus money on the Kelsey overs is not great. This is an NBA show, though. We got to get back to this.
Klay Thompson just got ruled out, Holden, because you're not.
That was like 5
minutes
ago, dude.
Yeah, but you didn't say anything about it.
Well, don't worry about it.
Golden State minutes.
He was too rooting against my success.
You stay in your lane, and I'll stay in mine, big guy. Okay? All right? And I hope every single one of your friends just loses their way, and it just takes you an hour to clean your bathroom on Monday. It's disgusting.
I would just pay a cleaning lady.
Would you?
If it was that bad.
Really? You never clean your own bathroom?
My fiance is OCD clean, so this house is always spick and span.
Yeah, same here. Always clean. And then I hear like, I'm like, it's always clean. She's like, because I do it. All right, NBA. Back to the stuff. Chicago and Memphis. Woof. DC. Like, is there anything of interest in this game?
No,
Good.
we mentioned Chicago. I mean, they really should have made a deal, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's a team that's healthy. Looks like Caruso, Kobe White are going to be in there, upgraded to probable. Yeah, I'm out on Chicago, and Memphis is a team that I've been trying to avoid whenever possible. It looks like they're going to have enough guys here against Chicago, who plays really slow, plays good defense, 217 total in this one. This isn't a game that I can see myself really getting any pieces whatsoever. Again, maybe a little bit of a different story if you're playing a ton of lineups tonight. I'm personally not. And especially now Klay Thompson is out. That opens up even better spot for Kuminga, Pods. There's just enough good plays on this slate that I don't see myself looking at much for Chicago and Memphis personally.
All right, very good. Schlong, let's get it here. Any Bulls, anything from this game?
Yeah, I could
Yeah?
see DeRozan, Vooch, Kobe White. I don't think they're like the worst. Like if you want to go with this full mid-tier build and like avoid some of the stars, I think one of those three could definitely have a good game here. So like I'm not totally out on the Bulls. I'll likely be out for the most part on Memphis. If Jaren Jackson plays, I'll have some shares, especially on FanDuel. He just has such great stock upside, whenever he touches the floor, that if he's expected to play his normal allotment of minutes, I'll have him some.
All right.
But yeah, ugly game.
Ugly game. Very ugly game. Two more games to go. We've got Minnesota and Milwaukee. Again, the Bucks making a couple of moves here, but Pat Bev would be the big one for them. I really didn't see anything on the Minnesota side today, Bryce. Can you break down a little Minnesota, Milwaukee? Obviously, if you ever wanted to pay up for Giannis, and we're going to get some value, right? I mean, we're talking about the Knicks value, Nets value. Anything you really like from this game?
Yeah, I like the studs. You have all this value that we've talked about in the other games. Chris Middleton's out. I think Giannis is in a great spot. I think Dame's in a great spot. I'm assuming Dame plays. If Dame is out, then you'll have really good value on Milwaukee, especially with them trading campaign away. It would be like Connaughton, and probably Jay Crowder would be the biggest beneficiary of that, simply because they couldn't play the traditional campaign minutes at point guard. But yeah, I'm expecting Dame to play today. So once again, we have value elsewhere. Go towards the studs. I think Anthony Edwards is a very solid play. I like Towns more than Gobert in this matchup. I know DC is our resident Minnesota expert, so I'll let him deal with that one. But yeah, studs here. I think Giannis is going to be one of the higher owned players on the slate, especially on FanDuel, where stocks matter a lot more. So yeah, I think a lot of people kind of gravitate towards like the Luka Giannis anchor builds and play at least one of them with the mid tier and then some punts.
So DC, Bryce was saying you're our resident T-Wolves expert. Why don't you start with Minnesota?
Yeah, I do agree. Towns over Gobert if I'm choosing between the two. But yeah, Minnesota healthy and didn't really lose anyone at the trade deadline either. So, I mean, it's a good matchup against Milwaukee, right? Who's really still struggling defensively. So yeah, I do like Towns. I don't know if I'll get there. I kind of think it's just all the value from the Knicks and the Nets, and then you pay up for a stud, which for me is Luka, or I'll probably be waiting personally on Giannis, who it is a little bit more of a difficult matchup for him here with Rudy Gobert, really, really, obviously one of the best rim defenders in the league. Giannis scores, almost exclusively at the rim, but there's a chance that Dame misses this game. I mean, he did miss the last game due to injury. It seems like he does have a legitimate ankle sprain that he would kind of be playing through. So I think there's a chance Lillard misses this. And then I know it's campaign, right? He's not really a relevant DFS player, but that's their backup point guard, right? Who they traded. If he's out, if Lillard's out, we already know obviously Payne's not going to play. Middleton is already out. Like, just all the offense would have to fall on Giannis's shoulders as a creator, as a scorer, to the point where I wouldn't really care that this matchup is a little bit tougher against Minnesota. And I guess I don't know if you'd call it a disagreement. I think there's maybe a higher chance than Bryce does that Dame misses this game. And if we knew that, I think Giannis would be the clear spend over Luka for me. So Giannis is the guy I want. I don't really have a problem having him on the team, honestly, even if Dame plays. But if Dame is out, I think he is by far the best spend on this slate. So I'll be personally hoping for that. Looks like they get Brook Lopez back, which takes Portis out of play. I don't love Lopez against Rudy Gobert. So it is kind of just Giannis that I'm looking at. And then Towns is my play on the other side. And, kind of the theme of this slate, you're not really hunting for value on any team, just given all the great plays that we have, right? You're not playing a Mike Conley or anything on this slate. They're just not in play, in my opinion. So, yeah, the studs, love Giannis, especially if Dame is out. Towns is a good play, but not going to the periphery pieces on either team here.
All right, so we are down to our final game now. Before we get into that, I'll just remind you of everything that's going on. One last congrats to Brittany, who won 100K, one of our longest active members, I should say. JSU just gave out the nuts on the Up to Lock show tonight. He'll be back tonight with Big T. That'll start probably about 20 minutes from right now. Up to Lock, it's a premium show, and it really helps everybody. I think if you join the premium show, you got to experience it's just how much great you get the news, you get the breakdown of what the news means. We talk about all the cores. Our guys give out the best 5-6 plays of the night. They will give you the core of their best team, and all you got to do is fill the rest in. That's not easy, but we got the best in the business to do that. The other show we got tonight, 9:00 Eastern, Old Guys Pod, our first show for the Super Bowl. Get you ready for the Super Bowl. Talk DFS with the Showdown. We'll talk about bets, and we'll do a whole bunch of other stuff that way. Again, like button to be wonderful. We're down to our final game, and Schlong, that would be Utah and Phoenix. Suns got Royce O'Neal, so they're waiting for him to come by. I really didn't see the Jazz do too much. Talk to me here. Is there any reason to get to the 9:00 game? And again, the 10:00 games are off the slate on both sites.
Common theme is with these last couple of games, studs only for me. Phoenix didn't give up enough. It was like Metu and shit, like guys that don't matter.
Yeah.
Unless Booker were to sit or Beal were to sit for some reason, then I would have more interest in the secondary pieces and the studs then. But I'll be mixing and matching. I think Laurie, KD, Booker, and probably Beal in a bit. But yeah, I don't love this game. I do think it's better than like the Chicago Memphis game to like target studs in. It's just a better game environment. But as we've said all show, so much great value. I don't think you need to dip down into like, I don't know, like a Drew Eubanks type of guy here.
DC, any interest in the late night game or in the last game?
Not much. I mean, we do have Booker and Beal, right? They're both questionable to play.
They're both
here.
Questionable.
So I kind of expect them to play, but it's the NBA. They're listed questionable. You don't know for sure. If one or both missed, yeah, the other one would become an awesome play, and so would Kevin Durant against Utah at that point. So
yeah. The issue with that is it's the 9 game.
Right.
So you don't really have any swap options.
Honestly, in all likelihood, I won't have any spots open to play these guys anyway, assuming the news comes after the other game's lock, which is an hour after the previous late lock. So I'm not going to end up with much of this game. If you want to take a risk on a guy like Kevin Durant, you're not dead, even if everyone ends up playing, and you're in a pretty good spot if they don't. So that's an okay risk to take. You could say the same thing for Booker or Beal, but I think it would be Durant that I would take the risk with, because he's the one where you could benefit from both of them potentially being out. Even if it's not likely, at least you have that chance to have a low-owned smash play, right? I mean, imagine they both sit and you're sitting on a 3 or 4% owned Kevin Durant or something. Like that would be awesome. So I wouldn't hate that. You might be stuck with a slightly suboptimal play, but it's I think a decent risk to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do is put hand build some teams and put Booker in the flex and put it all Booker and then swap half of them to KD or something like that. Like if you wanted, because Booker's $100 more. So that would like guarantee you the swap for him.
Yeah, so some decent stuff to do there. The Utah guys, like these guys are okay plays on paper. Guys like Sexton and Clarkson having really good years. They did lose Olynyk at the trade deadline. That's going to open up some more minutes for guys like Kessler and John Collins, who I think on a normal slate would be pretty decent plays. But on this slate, there's just no way I'm going to have room for these guys because, I think we lost Perez there, but guys like Dennis Smith Jr., McBride, I mean, they're going to be in my lineup, which takes up all the value. So I just don't have room for the Jazz value. So, it's, I think the play is you put Booker in the utility and, hope for good injury news, but I can't really imagine playing the value plays from either team here.
All right. You're right, Bryce.
Yeah. Mateo was accidentally closed out the tab. He feels really bad about it. Gave away a free bet yesterday for it. That was a winner. So
Again,
I'll probably have him.
Mateo. Poor guy.
I'll probably have him. He gave away a free winner. That more than makes up for it. Your ass probably didn't bet it.
I don't even know what you're talking about. How did the
Cal
dog
-2.5.
know what to give away?
Because he picks them.
You got to be shitting me.
No, I'll send you the video after the show.
All right, so the dog, you put two things down and the dog goes one way?
Our horse race last night.
Oh, how'd it go? How'd that go?
He finished second and he got claimed, so he's no longer our horse. Someone
What?
bought
Oh,
him
so
from
you
us for
sold him?
$50,000. We sold our horse for $50,000.
What'd you buy him for? Like $8?
$125.
So hold on, you lost $75,000 on him?
No, he's made us money.
Okay.
Like in the past.
You're not sending him to the glue factory, right? He's going to a nice
No,
home.
they bought him to race. Going to one of the top trainers in the world.
Very good. Good to hear.
Not going to the glue factory.
No, I don't want to go to the glue factory.
The race before, we had no idea who to bet. And I wasn't at the race. I normally go to Showdown Kings races. So I put down 8 treats on the floor. And he picked the second treat first. So we bet the 2 horse, and the 2 horse win. Or one.
All right, are we done?
I'll send you the video. Are you done?
No, are we done? Because
about
I need to get out of here and tell everybody about what's coming up. DC, we'll give plays of the day in a second. I just got news playback. The Up to Lock, the one where JSU just helped one of our members build a $100,000 winner last night. That's going to be free. You got to go to playback.tv, though. Download that. Guys are going to teach you how to use some Sabre. They'll give you the latest news. They'll get you the cores. They will watch games, sweat games with you. You can actually watch the NBA games with them. So that's pretty cool. This is not me flaking, dude. We just went through every single game, and I'm happy that they didn't kill their horse. I mean, that's it. Are you buying another horse, Schlong?
Likely. I have interest in Vitamin. He runs Saturday. That's a big race. That's a stakes race.
Dude has problems when his dog. But apparently it's working, and Brunson's out too. Brunson's out. You want to talk about Brunson real quick, guys? Just real quick.
Yeah, play the Knicks, play the Nets, and then jam in some studs.
This isn't. There are plenty of times when it's good to get off the chalk and find some plays that other people aren't on. This is not that day.
This isn't it.
No, not that day.
Just play the hits. We'll go
let other people get cute. Play the best plays. Like the Knicks, the Nets, they're going to come through. They
have 7-man rotations tonight.
Yeah.
Let's get to DC's mom's basement play of the day. What is it, DC?
Kind of limited choices because I kind of think it's a limited player pool slate for especially given that there's 7 games. But I think the low-owned net that I still consider close to a must-play is Mikal Bridges. I know his minute, he plays big minutes anyway, but I think he could potentially play like 45 or maybe even the they might just let him play the whole game. It could be one of those situations for the Nets. I think the matchup's decent for him against the Cleveland Wings. And I know he's been not superb recently. I'm seeing him projected at like 15% owned, which, listen, to me, that seems way too low on this slate. So I'll go with Mikal Bridges. Listen, he's not the lock that McBride and Dennis Smith are, but he's also going to be 50, 60% less owned than those guys will be. So I'll go with Mikal Bridges as the play of the day.
Schlong, what's the Mateo play of the day?
Well, he's short, so he loves short players. So he loves McBride and Dennis Smith here, but they're kind of too obvious. So we're going to go with another shorter guy, Cam Thomas.
What are you, 5'4", 5'5"? How tall are you?
5'9".
So you're 5'7". Okay, not bad. You're taller than Mangone, and you're taller than JSU. And you're probably right.
It's like, I'm not even going to say it.
Yeah, you shouldn't say it.
I should.
Wonderful seeing you both today. Thank you very much. Hey, everybody hit the like button on the way out. Again, Brunson's out. That was the big news. It really is good working with these guys, though. DC and Schlong, congratulations. Brittany, you're awesome. Playback.tv. The boys will be doing a free up to lock show tonight, and there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going down, especially with JSU's just be bragging, and Tony's going to get under his skin. It's going to be great. It'll be must-watch stuff. For DC, for the Schlong, I'm Holden. Keep running up here.